He got a 4-year deal, but don't worry, we're only going to see him for one of them. That's right. A man with no coaching experience was just hired as head coach of the cornerstone franchise in the NBA. And LeBron wants us all to believe he had nothing to do with it.
I mean, we heard the LA front office wanted Hurley. We heard they wanted Atkinson. But ever since Darvin Ham was fired, the name on everyone's lips has been none other than JJ Redick.
And since that hire was made, the NBA headlines have been dominated by the Lakers' late second-round pick. Why? Because his name is LeBron James, and he's going to be playing with LeBron James. That's right. Something that's never happened in NBA history is now about to take place. A player who many consider to be the greatest of all time, playing with his own son.
Facts, bro. So let's take a step back, right? You're telling me in a matter of 2 weeks, the franchise with the second most championships in NBA history is hiring one of the league's most unproven head coaches and most unproven prospects? Nah, man, what's really going on in La La Land?
Man, with these moves, it's almost like the Lakers are taking cues from a certain kingmaker. Banking on potential rather than experience might just be part of the LeBron playbook. Either way, the Lakers have reportedly been infatuated with the clipboard-wielding sharpshooter from the Mind the Game podcast. They believe he has Pat Riley-like potential.
Bruh.
But why? What do they see in JJ that makes them so confident he gives the Lakers the best chance to win?
And if this was all a LeGM special, what does LeBron see in Redick that makes him want to play for one of his peers so desperately?
I don't know. Is it the slick back hair and rosy cheeks? Because I don't get it. Comparing JJ Redick to Pat Riley is crazy. They run their organization like a startup and then wonder why it don't work out. The hire of first-time head coach JJ Redick and the draft selection of Bronny James.
Right on cue. The criticism of Bronny as an NBA player has been pouring in. Scouts and GMs claiming the real value of the 6'2 guard is in his last name. But how valuable is a second-round pick really? And is Bronny a legitimate NBA player, or is he only in conversations because of who his dad is?
Right now, NBADraft.net, one of the more independent sources, has Bronny rated as an 88 overall across their 12 prospect metrics. This overall rating puts Bronny on the lower end of all second-round picks and future prospects over the last 3 years, but well within range of the typical mid to late first-rounder. So maybe Rich Paul wasn't capping when he said Bronny would be in the NBA even if his name was John Smith.
But still, his college numbers across his 1 year at USC look more like a 4-year walk-on than a future NBA star. I mean, for perspective, here are the average collegiate stats from every late second-round pick that played college ball over the last 5 years. Come on, bro. You can't lie. He does not stack up. In fact, there's a legitimate argument Bronny is the least productive college prospect in NBA history. There are only 2 other players that have been drafted with numbers equal or less to Bronny. And at least they were bigs. They had the size you can project, which will make up for their lack of college production. Which leads us to ask the question, why is he on this team? And why is JJ Redick their coach?
If you keep in touch with JJ Redick's podcast, with his commentary on night-to-night games, on shows like ESPN, you could take a step back and say, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about. But I'm a fan of the game. I'm not a franchise. I'm not an organization. So what is it that the Lakers see in Redick? Is it chemistry with LeBron? Is it his well-known insane work ethic? Or is it that fresh perspective that we've all come to know and love that could be an asset in today's NBA? I mean, this guy, JJ Redick, has no problem going on national TV telling Stephen A. Smith he has no idea what the hell he's talking about. There's something to like about that, not going to lie.
I mean, those are all good qualities and really going to be assets for JJ Redick. But I think what the Lakers organization sees in JJ more than anything is 2 more years of LeBron James. Let's be honest. LeBron is one powerful man and one pending free agent. It's one thing to get your son drafted, but it's a whole different ballgame to wield your influence strong enough to get your front office to do this. Bro, I wish I had that type of power. Bro is wielding infinity stones.
As LeBron typically does, you know what I'm saying? But speaking of infinity stones and infinite expectations, Redick is walking into the most unrealistic expectations in America. I mean, this is not Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. It's the Los Angeles Lakers, man. The Lakers fan base has broken several head coaches over the years. I alluded to Frank Vogel. I mean, we had Darvin Ham, but they all had more experience than JJ.
But maybe that's why they felt they needed JJ in the first place. That cookie cutter head coach candidate wasn't working in LA. So they zagged. Instead of a longtime coach who only knows the old ways of the NBA, they're going with a fresh-faced 39-year-old who can adapt to today's game and hopefully connect with today's players.
So now what, Laker Nation? You've got your coach. What about that sorry-ass roster? I mean, let's have the conversation. Let's be real about it, all right? Championship expectations are a given. But what about a roster to match?
Yo, thank you for saying this. It's all facts. They got 3 nice players, 3.5 if we want to count Austin Reeves, D'Lo, depending how you look at them. But what about the rest, bro? The talent in today's league is so spread out now. You could look at any name in the West, and they've got it.
And listen, I love D'Lo as much as the next guy. I love ice in my veins. I love Mr. All-Star and BK, right? But when you start relying on D'Lo to be your consistent third option for a championship contending team, I mean, come on. On top of that, Redick is the same age as his star player, but is that good or bad? He knows his X's and O's and has a strong basketball mind, but coaching is a lot more than drawing up plays and scheming coverage.
Yeah, bro, I don't know. We're going to find out. We're all guessing at this point because you know what? He's never coached a day in his life. You know what this feels like to me, bro? A whole lot of Steve Nash, a legendary undersized guard that got his shot way before it was due. Star-studded roster, big-time expectations, and not much to show for it. I don't know if this is going to be much different.
Man, listen, I'm going to have to disagree. Let's start off with Steve Nash, right? And we all know just because you're one of the great all-time players does not mean it's going to translate to being a great head coach. I mean, Jason Kidd got lucky in this season, but how many seasons of terrible coaching with the Bucks? I mean, come on, let's keep it a stack. Man, when I think about Steve Nash's season in Brooklyn, I feel like Shaq and Kobe did when their MVPs were robbed from them by Mr. Nash. I mean, I feel robbed. Steve Nash had one of the greatest teams of all times assembled, and all he had to do was put his foot down, right? But Steve Nash was more known for hugging his players than he was for drawing up big plays to win games. And as you guys all know, that didn't last long. But that's the key difference between JJ Redick and Steve Nash. I think the expectations are a little bit different. No matter how you cut it, no matter how you slice it, yeah, you got an old LeBron. Yeah, you got AD who's soft as listen, I don't even need to explain it. That boy's soft. But this is finally the time where JJ Redick could put his money where his mouth is. He's talking that smack to Stephen A. He's talking that smack on online radio shows. He's talking that smack on ESPN. I don't know, man. I think JJ's got it. And the fact that we all know that his team isn't as good as that Steve Nash-led team is going to help him out a little bit.
Come on, bro. You know them Laker fans aren't realistic.
Facts. And I'll tell you what, I agree, but when they got love and they want something to happen, they'll be patient. I mean, those Kobe-laden years, those last few years for Kobe from 2012 to 2016, as terrible as they were, as injury-laden as they were, listen, I think Lakers fans, they have some of that in them, and especially understanding.
I got to quote Draymond on that.
Oh, boy. By 17, by 46.
This ain't Kobe. This ain't no farewell tour. Come on, bro.
Facts.
They don't even like LeBron down in LA.
I mean,
but when I look at this, bro, my concerns for JJ are what happens when things start going wrong. When the pressure mounts, the Lakers are 10th in the West. Folks start calling for his job. That buddy Remind the Game podcast ain't going to help him then.
The same goes for Bronny. The expectations for a typical second-round pick are next to nothing. But Bronny is anything but typical.
Word. Of the 298 second-round picks in the last 10 years, only about half have played more than one NBA season, and only 2 have become all-stars, Jalen Brunson and Nikola Jokic. Hitting on talent that late in the draft is quite literally finding a diamond in the rough. But we already know they're going to move the goalposts with Bronny. Because when your dad is who his dad is, the standards are just different.
I mean, guys, let's keep it a stack here. Does anybody know who the last guys picked at 55 even are? Last year's 55th overall pick has played one game in the NBA. The next 55th overall pick has played 23 games in 2 seasons. The 2021 55th pick is actually having himself a solid season, the outlier. But let me put you guys on to the rest of the guys drafted at 55. 2020, no longer in the NBA. 2019, no longer in the NBA. 2018, no longer in the NBA. The guy before him, you guessed it, no longer in the NBA.
So why is everyone tripping? 5 points in a Summer League debut is what Wemby put up just a year ago. We just told you how useless these picks are. This should be expected. But then there's JJ. Oh, poor JJ. I still don't see how this works out for him.
I think he could do it. I think he's going to have no problem. As much as LeBron is like, that's my guy, I think he's going to have no problem putting LeBron in his place, especially that they're peers first and effectively in coach-player relationship second. I know he has no problem putting AD in his place. He's going to tell him, AD, until you can give me a 30-12 season, you shut your mouth. All right? AD, I mean, come on now. We didn't bring you over here for you to be the second option to LeBron when LeBron was 79 years old. All right, you're supposed to start to carry this team, right? Listen, he ain't perfect. He's got no experience, but he's got the it factor, right? And I think LeBron sees it, and all we got to do is give him a shot. You know, you guys obviously know how I feel about JJ. I think he's able to do a good job, but we also gotta curb our expectations. We got to bring them back down to reality. And the two things I'm looking at are this, in addition to that scrubby roster, right, is what's his coaching staff going to look like? And how does he want to fill out the rest of the scrubby roster? I mean, what does a JJ Redick team look like? Is it filled with a lot of shooters surrounding LeBron and AD? Is it no shooters? Is it defense-oriented? I'm interested to see how it's going to work out.
Come on, bro. You know he's going to be 4 out at least, probably 5 out. You definitely think he's going to have shooting, and that means these guys going to be active. And they can do that with D'Angelo Russell sitting on a player option. He can opt in and be traded, sign a trade, or he can opt out and they'll have his $18 million to spend in the free agent market.
And at the end of the day, right, the same way that, you know, I'm going to push for JJ, I'm going to hold him accountable if things don't work out, right? And I'm not going to do it the LeBron way, the hush-hush backdoor way. One day I'm hugging you, the next day you're out the door on a PJ. It's another low-K, you know, so...
And then going back to the coaching staff, this is going to be the more interesting part. First-time head coach, they always like to put you around some experience. Rondo, Dudley, some names I'm hearing, which is interesting, one, because they're all about the same age as LeBron.
Facts.
And two, don't actually have any head coaching experience. So who in that head coaching market are they going to have to know the little things, the intricacies of how to use that media timeout, how to manage the practice schedule, all the things that JJ has zero experience doing.
Once I heard Doe, I mean, shoot, my boy Rondo and JJ, now that's a coaching staff in its own right, you know? Yeah. I like some of those names. I think at the end of the day, right, JJ's assistant is going to have a lot of assistant to do. You throw in a Sam Cassell, we know what he does, not only on the floor, but from the executive level as well. I mean, he's made a huge impact everywhere that he's gone. I mean, that's a big three if you ask me.
Hey, so either way, bro, this is a high-risk hire for the Lakers. There's a gamble here, no doubt. But if JJ can bring that fresh perspective, connect with players, maybe this is just what the Lakers need to turn things around.
Speaking of turn things around, as you guys can see, when it comes to the three all around and the sharp lineup, that's not a reality for your boy, right? It's too late for me. But it's not too late for you. That's all possible with EvanAlexanderGrooming.com. So I want you to let them know a little bit more about Evan Alexander Grooming.
Evan Alexander Grooming got all your men's hair and skincare needs. Make sure you guys are plugging in that promo code hoop_plug_ for that smooth 20% off at checkout.
Something light. And if you're rocking with the Hoop Plug, our sponsors are rocking with y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in with us. And as always, put some flavor in your ear.
Peace.